All right, guys, what's going on? Recently, I was on the first podcast of the year, AGS Live. Is it episode 227? I can't remember the number. But anyway, it was about, a lot of things happened in that episode, but a lot of it had to do with Bond getting removed from Weapon Wheel Podcast. And I've taken a little bit of an interest in what was going on with that, especially as it relates to the previous thing with Hard 8 getting removed from the podcast. Very similar situations, but some of the reasoning, I guess, is a little different. I don't know. We're going to have to find out what BG says. I totally fucking forgot to check on Weapon Wheel this Sunday. It's just not even on my fucking radar. I don't think to look for Weapon Wheel every week. I stopped watching it after Hard 8 split off, and that's kind of what it is. So, but after Hard 8 made his response and saw what BG said, I had to go check it out for my fucking self, of course. Like, how could I not? But yeah, let's go ahead and get into what BG said about the Bond situation. And maybe a little bit of what he has to say about Hard 8. And maybe we'll see if we get to him addressing some of the questions his community had. I don't know if they'll necessarily ask any good ones. Or if the panel members on Weapon Wheel will really press BG or ask him any hard-hitting questions either. So we'll have to see how this goes, but I definitely want to take a look at this.
All right, so Bond has been removed from the podcast. I made this decision completely unilaterally. It was all on me. Smooth, Jack, nobody else was involved in this decision making. Even though it was funny that Jack was still catching strays for something I did. That shit was funny. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was fucking hilarious. He was still catching strays. They felt like you had something to do with it.
This shit is crazy.
The reason I just made that... Oh shit, I gotta fix the screen. The reason I made that decision in that way is because I didn't want anybody else, being involved. I'm BG, usually known as BrokenGamez, but I'm okay with being the bad guy too. BG can stand for bad guy, right? And I listen.
You been thinking of that dog shit?
Hey, listen. Hey, listen.
Weeks, that's why we just came back today.
Listen.
You've been writing that. Hey, Jack, what's that Timberland gift? We like.
Hey, listen. One thing y'all gotta understand is, I've been on YouTube for a very long time, and I've been attacked and hated by a lot of different people, groups, and fan bases.
Well, no fucking shit. It's almost as if there's a common denominator. If you're being hated by all these fucking fan bases, wouldn't you stop to self-reflect and say, maybe there is something going on with me. Maybe I could be a problem. I mean, fucking any normal human being would do that kind of self-reflection, right?
It happens every other week for me. So y'all gotta understand that if you think me being hated or talked about is going to influence me or hurt me or bother me, bro, it's the norm for me. It's my comfortable area to be hated.
Yeah, it bothers him. Every YouTuber with any dream of growing their channel wants to be liked, at least by their own fan base. And I'm sure he has some fan, I don't fucking know why, but they want to be liked. They want to be viewed positively. Because if you're not, you end up becoming a lol cow. You end up becoming fucking DSP, where everyone just hate watches you and laughs at you. And that's not a long-term recipe for success. So don't let him get it twisted. He wants to be liked. Just like everybody in life. Every person would rather be liked than disliked. No one thinks of themselves as the villain. No one wants to think of themselves that way. So don't let him gaslight you here.
So people thinking that, like, oh, we're gonna dislike videos or we're gonna keep bringing it up, and I'm like, okay, have at it, enjoy. Y'all gotta realize, like, listen, I'm truly, even though I may clap back at some of this shit.
Pause.
Bro,
you do what?
I clap back. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I thought you meant like. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Even though I may clap back at some of the things people say, y'all must know by now, I don't give a fuck. about how much y'all dislike me. Y'all have to know that by now. Right? Has that not been clear?
Then why even bother clapping back? Why even bother issuing a response? Why even do this response? If you don't give a fuck what anyone thinks, then why jump through all those hoops? Obviously you fucking care. Otherwise you would have just said, yeah, I kicked Bond, what about it? I'm not talking about it, fuck you guys. Don't care what you think. But here you are making a statement because you care.
I mean, so I need y'all to know that none of that shit does anything to me. I don't care how much y'all dislike me. Don't give a fuck. What's funny is apparently I make so many people butthurt that there apparently like the hate for me causes mass gatherings. Have you seen it? Like somehow certain people come together and the masses come together when the reason is to hate on BG.
Jesus, talk about spinning it in a way to boost his own ego. Okay, whatever, dude. Go on.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Listen, it's amazing, right?
You talking about that pop-up where everybody squash their beef?
Not only that. Listen, I don't know nothing.
You hear that shit? He tried to act like he didn't see the first episode, 227 or whatever it is. Yeah, he watched it. He knows. Don't let him fuck with you. Oh, I don't know. No. Yeah. Okay.
Only that, it's like suddenly individuals who people never supported before, they suddenly want to support them just to spite me. Why didn't you support these individuals before? Why did you wait till I did something you didn't like? That person has always been making content and always been making videos, and y'all didn't view those videos, y'all didn't like those videos, y'all didn't donate. So you wait for me to do something you don't like to support that person?
So I remember he made a tweet about something like this, very similar, and I'm not really sure what the hell he's talking about here. I mean, he might be talking about somebody specific or some group of people that is specific that he knows, some other situation I'm not aware of. All I can really do is tell my own story. It's kind of like when Hard 8 split off. He was the main draw. Of course, there was a time where I would catch up with pretty much all the Crumb Side guys because I thought you guys were funny and entertaining. Because a lot of your contents were so interwoven, and it was hard to keep up, what was happening with one guy without checking on other people at times too, especially during like the Skype Wars shit, and a lot of the back and forth between Hard 8 and Zaire, and Hard 8 and Smooth, or whatever, BLACKB0ND and Dr. Trey, or what the fuck, it was hard to keep up without checking in on pretty much everybody. But yeah, after Hard 8 split off, I kind of went in that direction because without him, he was kind of the main draw, and I did really enjoy the way he sort of related to the other what do you call it? I guess panelists or members of Weapon Wheel. But without him there, it just lost a lot of momentum for me personally. As far as whether or not I check on Bond's content, like occasionally I will. Like I said, I kind of dropped off with checking in on you guys a lot after I split off from the Weapon Wheel community. So, that's kind of my reasoning there. But honestly, like, who fucking cares? Like, what does that have anything to do with how you treat motherfuckers? Really? Like, don't let them distract you from the issue here. It ain't got nothing to do with that. It's just grasping for fucking straws. Like, what can he do to gaslight you guys or spin the issue, make you forget? I don't know. Just sprinkling in a bunch of bullshit.
So you don't actually care about supporting them. You just care about hating me. Okay. Not something I didn't already know, but interesting way that y'all function out there. That's interesting. But I removed Bond from the podcast simply because I thought the podcast would be better without him. That's really it. That's truly it. I know some of y'all are going to think that it is way deeper than that. It's way more than that. I promise you, there is nothing more to it than that.
And what exactly gave you that idea? I mean, he was good to hire in the first place. He was good to build the fucking podcast with. He was good to keep on, better part of a decade or maybe over a decade now. But all of a sudden, nah, Bond, we're good on you now. We're moving on. The podcast will be better without. I'm not sure what evidence he has of that. Somebody mentioned, one time Bond wasn't on there and the podcast got a bunch of fucking likes. The sample size for that, one podcast, goddamn. If that's true, that sample size is way too fucking small to make any kind of determination on that. But yeah, you let the motherfucker build it up. You let him work on to make it what it became. But now, fuck, you're treating motherfuckers like you're Jeff Bezos. Like, Bond, you're only a number to me. You didn't stock enough boxes yesterday, so we're gonna have to let you go. Like, Jesus, fuck, man, savage.
And some of y'all can't fathom that because you removed somebody from the podcast who's been on the podcast for 10 years because you thought it would run better? Yes. The fuck? Yes. Listen, I don't know how y'all function out there and how whatever set of rules y'all roll by and live by, but just because somebody has done something in the past does not entitle them to the future. I don't know what world y'all live in. Y'all live in some fantasy world. That shit does not exist in real life. You could get fired from you could get in real life. You can work at somewhere 20 years and they can fire you the next day. They don't give a fuck what you did the last 20 years. That don't mean nothing. It's appreciated. You were compensated for it. That doesn't guarantee you a spot nowhere.
Well, Bond, we appreciate your service for 10 years. We appreciate that you helped build the podcast up from scratch. And that'll be all. That's it. You're fired. Don't let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. I mean, Jesus Christ. He talks about what kind of personal code we run by. Like, he really does think he's fucking Jeff Bezos, don't he? Like, you know damn well you could have handled this differently. You could have handled this better. Everyone fucking knows that. Everyone sees that. That's why there's been so many people coming at you not feeling the fucking shit you say. So, I don't know where this is coming from. Hasn't he even admitted? Am I tripping? Did he admit he could have handled it better? I mean, you didn't even have a fucking conversation with the goddamn guy. Like, you didn't even give him a chance to correct or improve or cut down on some of the things you didn't like that broke up the flow. And I think he addresses this maybe later, like, Bond is Bond, and I don't want him to change. I just want to fire him. Yeah, fuck.
What are y'all talking about?
I think it's the way you did it, BG. Not to interrupt your rant, but I think they were more so saying like, "Damn, do you feel like you gave him a warning, or do you feel like you tried to converse to him like, hey, if you keep doing this, I feel like it's messing up the show." Like that, they feel like you didn't give him a chance to fix it, I guess.
You know, I'm glad he asked that. I don't know who it was that asked that, but I am glad he asked it. He could have put on his big boy pants before he asked it. I mean, you notice in his voice how timid this dude is? I mean, this is the kind of effect and the kind of environment you create when you do this, like shit like this to people. Like, they walk on eggshells around this motherfucker. It's very clear by how he talks. Jack's the same way. We'll get to that. But you can see it. It's palpable. Like, the tension is there. They don't trust BG. Why would you? I mean, shit.
Nah, BG, they said you caught him in the store still in boxers. The one who fired him.
What?
Nah,
the way I did it.
Oh,
like
on Friday. Like, yeah, there wasn't a. They were saying there wasn't a vote, or you didn't tell them like, "Hey, I'm gonna kick you off." Like they felt like you was about to kick Blandrew off as well. Do you want to dispel that rumor that he?
I'm gonna get to that after. I'm gonna get to that, and that's another clearly idiotic take from people who probably don't pay attention to the podcast. But yeah, it was just that I thought the podcast would run better without him, and that's really it. There was nothing more to it than that. And like I think I could have handled it better, not changing the decision, but in the way that I told I guess the viewers and the public. But I don't regret my decision and at all. And it doesn't mean I hate Bond or anything like that at all. But I could have handled it better the way I rolled it out.
Yeah, this dude doesn't like Bond. I don't know if hate is the right word, but he definitely doesn't like Bond.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that on that.
People expected more so of a ceremonious sort of departure, considering who Bond is and how long he's been on a podcast. He's considered like a pillar. So they felt like no, he was more deserving of a I guess of a
ritual, like something, something respectful.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like this is it, or the last dance sort of type thing.
BG, they saying you got no morals, boss.
Okay, I gotta be honest. I have no idea what fucking Kizmove is saying right now. A ritual? We gotta perform a ritual for Bond. Like, what are we gonna do? Pour one out for him on the podcast? Fucking sit in a prayer circle for him? Do a rain dance? I don't know. A fucking ritual.
I don't give a fuck what they think. I don't give a fuck what they think. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what they think.
Say it 3 more times and we'll believe you.
So and by the way, just to answer the previous question, and let's be clear, I have no problem answering any question, right? So anybody saying I'm dodging a question, I'm ready to answer all questions. Some y'all just may not be ready for the answers. Y'all already have in y'all head an answer that y'all believe.
Or in other words, I'm ready to answer any question, you guys. Now the answers might be a little bullshit, but I'll answer them.
And y'all want me to confirm that. I'm not here to confirm whatever fantasy land you live in. I'm here to tell you the facts and the truth. But on the podcast, I have told Bond about some of the things that he's done, like the interruptions, the tangents. I brought this up live on the podcast. You can go watch the videos. It's there. So it's not like I've never said anything about it. I've addressed it to him. I've addressed all this shit to him.
And once again, just to qualify, I don't keep up with Weapon Wheel Podcast. But, in my mind, I can only imagine the way this probably went down. And addressing something like that live is probably not the best way to do it. I don't know if the message would even be properly received in that context. It would be more appropriate in private to kind of have, I say it like a sit down face to face, but you know what the fuck I'm talking about. I think that would have been probably the best way to do that. I can only imagine how it went down. It was probably something like passive aggressive and fucking catty, where he's like, Bond, can we just move on? Like shit like that. Like, just take a hint. I don't like you. Shut the fuck up. Quit talking. I don't like when you what was it? Derail the podcast. That was the word being thrown around a lot. I bet it was something like that. Again, I haven't watched it, so I don't know for sure. I mean, it could have been him doing his boss thing, his Jeff Bezos thing, live on air. I don't fucking know. But I just get that mental image in my head that it was some passive-aggressive fuck shit.
So I did that. And I didn't feel like I wanted to give some extra warning or sit down and talk to him. This is who Bond is. Listen, I believe that's who Bond is. So I'm not trying to necessarily change who you are. If that's who you are, stay who you are. And if I felt like that wasn't meshing well with the podcast, in my opinion, then I just removed him.
I mean, you guys, Bond is who he is. He's just a useless sack of shit. No need to even bother trying to correct the behavior to achieve a more desired outcome for what I think is best for the podcast. No need to talk to him. He is who he is. He's fucking useless. So I had to fire him.
That's really it. So there's and I've been seeing different comments, that people have been making and all that stuff. So I want to address some of the things. And if y'all see any questions in the chat that y'all think are good questions, bring it up to me. Now, Blandrew, let me bring up Blandrew. First of all, anybody who was making a big deal, first of all, Blandrew is welcome on the podcast anytime he wants. He can come back on the podcast anytime he wants.
But not Bond, bitch.
But anybody who's been watching the podcast knows that Blandrew has never been a consistent part of the podcast. Blandrew literally comes on the podcast for like 2 months. We don't see him again for like another 4 months. He comes back for 2 months. We don't see him again for another 6 months. And that's how it's been for the last 3 years.
But we all got bougie aunties that do that. They come for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Sure, but people acting like, oh my God, Blandrew left it. Bro, Blandrew has left this podcast like 8 times since he started coming on. This is not new for Blandrew. This is normal for Blandrew. Is this not, bro? What most of the time when Blandrew came on the podcast, I didn't know he was coming. I didn't know when Blandrew was coming on the podcast and when he was not coming on the podcast. Most of the time, sometimes he would say some stuff, but a bunch of the times it was a surprise. Like, oh shit, that's Blandrew. So I'm like, when people are acting like, oh, Blandrew's gone too, I'm like, bro, Blandrew. And this is not shitting on Blandrew. I've told Blandrew this on the podcast, and I've told him this in the DMs that he's the most inconsistent person I know.
So let me understand, because maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm the fucking dumb one here. This is just usual Blandrew behavior. So every time he goes on one of these hiatuses and doesn't, visit the podcast or check in or do a show with you guys, does he always tweet that he's fucking done with you guys? Because that would seem to be a difference here in this particular situation, that he made the tweet like, well, fuck it, I'm done then, peace out. And it just so happened to coincide with Bond being removed and treated as he was. Yeah, I don't know, but hey, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the fucking dumb one here.
Because like I said, he'd be like, oh, I'm coming back to the podcast. And then he'd be like, oh, I want to focus on my content. Then he comes back to the podcast. Oh, I'm leaving because I want to focus on my content. It's a pattern.
What was your favorite? Mine was when he got a girl. I think that was my favorite reason why he left.
That's what I'm saying. Blandrew has had a million reasons why he's left.
What about the timing though? The timing kind of crazy if you look at it.
Mm-hmm. He said it was because he actually wanted to start making content. And if you look at Blandrew's channel, and I'm subscribed to Blandrew's channel, this is how I know, Blandrew, in the last 2 years, Blandrew has made 3 videos, maybe 4.
He's on a roll. He's got to get the mojo. Come on, Doc.
So when he's in the past, when he said, oh, I'm leaving to make content, he never has. So he's finally, I think he's actually made 2 videos in the last 2 weeks. So he's finally actually doing it. And I think that he was interacting with the Discord and shit like that. And I think they were arguing and shit like that. So I think this is just one of those, the timing to me didn't have anything to do with Bond, in my opinion. I don't think so.
I don't know. Seems suspicious.
You'd have to ask Blandrew. Either way, Blandrew could come on the podcast anytime he wants, but he was never this member that I'm like, oh yeah, I expect Blandrew to be there every single week. It was never that. So people making a big deal out of that, I was like, okay, sure. But he can come on anytime he wants. People were talking about, oh, Weapon Wheel is going to be an echo chamber. I would never allow Weapon Wheel to be an echo chamber. I never have. I never will. You're a moron. It's like some of this shit I'm just going to give 5 seconds because it's not worth giving a whole explanation to, because some of y'all are idiots.
By the way, guys, I'll answer all your questions at the end. I don't want to leave anything on the table. I'll answer all your questions. Let's see. What's this question? And you're a moron. You are a moron. Okay. You don't even deserve the time of day. Fuck you. Okay. That's the answer to your question.
Weapon Wheel is going woke and professional. Again, you're a fucking moron. Okay. Okay. Let me dispel that right now, that Weapon Wheel is going professional, whatever the fuck that is. Anybody who says that and believes that I kick Bond off to become professional, suck my dick until I come on your face and lather it all over your face.
What? BG,
now if I was trying to create some professional podcast, why would I say that?
Oh, motherfucker. He's about to make me lose my mind. This dude said, you think that this is a serious podcast? This is not a serious podcast. Matter of fact, I'm so unserious. I'll do some gay shit. I'll do it right now. I will get on my knees and suck a man's dick. I'll fucking take all the dicks in the ass. I don't care. I'll get on my hands and knees right now and human centipede a motherfucker if I have to. That's how serious I am about being unserious. This shit cannot be real life, man.
Blink smooth. He got zoned in when you said
He licking his lips. Fool.
No,
My lips are ashy, bro.
No. You started licking your lips when he said that. That's
My
crazy.
lips have been dry the whole entire time. Nah, but go
And
ahead.
then you started salivating when he said that, right? Come on, bro.
smooth
Come on,
type
bro.
facts when he said that. What the hell?
But
What the fuck?
but look, why would I say that? I'm trying to become professional and I'm trying to take the podcast and bro, shut the fuck up. What are y'all just be talking, y'all just be yapping out there. Y'all just be yapping to like whatever helps y'all sleep at night. Y'all come up with a whole bunch of reasons why shit happens.
You've been doing a whole lot of chirping yourself, my guy. For example, I don't know what the fuck that shit just was.
And there's some things like I'm a say, and some people are gonna take this as me shitting on Bond. It's not shitting on Bond. It's telling the truth. There were some people like, oh, the PC representation is gone now, and the PC takes are gone now. I'm like, bro, if you've watched this podcast, when is the last time and how often have you ever seen Bond actually give you some PC specific and PC unique takes?
Yeah, so I really can't offer much on this because, like I said, I haven't watched the show much recently. I feel like back in the day, maybe Bond did offer some PC insight, but I could be fucking misremembering certain things. I mean, that was so long ago now, so I guess I'm just going to have to take his word for it on this one, as much as it pains me.
When? Where? Outside of that Met game that he plays, Bond hardly talks about PC. Bond doesn't even really play any PC exclusive games. What are y'all talking about? Bro, I beat more PC games than Bond. Everybody in here damn near has a PC. I buy more PC parts than Bond. I literally talk about PC more than Bond on this podcast. That's not hating on him. That is fact. You can watch the videos and see that. You can watch the podcast and see that. So people acting like, oh, the PC, perspective is gone. I'm like, bro, what have y'all been watching? Y'all haven't gotten that from Bond in a long ass time.
But could you give him credit for being an elder statesman, as in because he's been around so long, he could kind of be like I don't want to say the standard, but the nigga that could speak to the then and now, how things are, how things were.
Bond is and was supposed to be that. That was his part, but he wasn't that anymore, and it wasn't for a long time. Like, let's be real. When we got opinions from Bond on games, it would be like 6 months after the game came out, damn near after everybody else done talked about it. After I done talked about, how it was on PC, my impressions of the game, and you wouldn't even get it that often. It was very rare, far and in between. I think he said he beat like 3 games last year, and one of them was like a multiplayer. I think one of them was like Helldivers that he kept on playing. So what like perspective on games was you getting? Like, okay, you may like the jokes and some of that shit Bond was saying. That's cool. But like to act like you're getting this PC perspective from him, I'm like, that wasn't happening.
And so this is exactly one of the things you could have easily just talked to him about. Like if you were having certain issues like, Bond, we're going to have you keeping up on some of the modern games. You can't be a member of the podcast and not play XYZ. Like if these are the certain big games coming out this year, then you at least need to be on top of this, and this. These are the 4 major ones coming out this year. And that list could be subject to change, Like there could be a game coming out that we don't maybe expect much from, but it blows up. Or there could be a game that we do expect something from that is like Dragon Age Veilguard or something like that. Dragon Age, a big franchise, or at least it was in the past, but it came out and it flopped, So there's really not much great to say about it. So maybe you skip that one. Who knows? Like the community, I don't think many people even give a fuck to hear about Veilguard, right? So that could be one you skip. But yeah, this could have easily been a conversation you have with the dude. Keep up a little bit with these games. If he's not playing enough of them to have conversations, then that is what it is. That should be accounted for kind of in the money that you are able to buy some of the big games, you know, at least 4 or 5 of them a year, if there is that many big games. I mean, the fucking industry has been shit lately, it feels like. But, yeah, at least 4 to 5 of the heavy hitters coming out this year. And then hopefully you can also, beyond that, pick up some specific games that you might enjoy that other members of the podcast won't, and be able to bring your experiences with those games onto the podcast and give sort of a mini review, give a rundown how you feel about the game. Do you like it? Don't you like it? What are some of the mechanics and systems that were really good, that stand out? What are some of the things that bothered you or disappointed you, whatever it may be? Yeah, but this could have easily been a conversation. Even though I may have differences with Bond and some of his views, I never got the feeling that he's a totally unreasonable guy. That's just me. But who knows? Who knows what goes on in BG's head?
Absolutely wasn't happening. So I don't know what y'all was talking about there. So yeah, that is what it is. I mean, listen, I don't know what to tell you. That's just the truth. Now usually I don't address the butcher, you know. Usually I don't address the butcher, right? The sausage strangler, the meat mangler. Usually I don't address this man, but I'm going to this time, this one rare time, right? Because I did respond to this man during, you know, in the last 3 weeks, and there was a little powwow, you know, a little camp that was happening about people crying about me, and what I will say is there was a lot of people hitting me up about why I wouldn't go on his platform. Okay, first of all, if you ask me that question, I have to ask you, are you dumb, deaf, or retarded? I have to. Because if you ask me that question, I have to assume you're missing at least some chromosomes or some brain cells.
And there he goes, poisoning the fucking well just for asking him a simple question, a perfectly reasonable question. Like, if you're going to be talking all this mess on Twitter, just have a sit down with the guy. Talk to him. Jesus. But no, he's got to call us all morons and missing chromosomes for asking him to do that thing, that very thing.
There were even people saying like, "Oh, like BG, you never actually addressed what the problem was." I made an entire video, a bunch of years, what the problem was, and it had a lot of views. So that's not true.
Yeah, and where is that, by the way?
So let me explain to you. Okay, first of all, I have my own platform. Why would I go on somebody I don't fuck with platform? That's number one. You have to be an idiot if you do that. Nobody's afraid to go on somebody else's platform, but what would I gain out of it? What does it benefit me? Right? There's just no reason for me to do it. Go on somebody else's platform. That's number one. That's only.
You really are just such a little shit, aren't you?
Well, why would I talk to him on his platform? What does that benefit me?
Like, you suck.
Like maybe 10% of the reason. The 90% of the reason why I will never, no matter how many times y'all ask, because y'all been asking for a long time, why I will never directly talk to this man or go on his platform is because he is detached from reality. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. And I'm going to use Jack's situation for an example, right? In this video, and in my video, because Jack's example that I'm going to use is just another like the same example of the things I named in my video a bunch of years ago about what I stated the issue is.
Did you guys get all that? Yeah, me neither. What a bowl of word salad.
So I don't know the whole situation, but Jack said, "Hey, this dude asked me for money before," right? Dude said, "I never asked Jack for money." Jack. And dude says, "Yo, if that happened, show evidence." Jack literally shows proof and evidence that this man has asked me for money, right? What does dude say? Dude says, that's fake. You coded that. You photoshopped that. It's made up.
Like, what are we even talking about right now? Many years ago, he asked to borrow money. And then when I brought it up that he borrowed money, he then claimed he didn't borrow the money. Like, who cares? This is so stupid, so irrelevant to really anything. And this is your go-to example of why he's completely divorced from reality. The situation where he allegedly asked to borrow money, but he disagrees. Who cares?
The nigga that looks proof and real evidence in the face and denies it was him, that's the nigga y'all want me to go talk to? Are y'all dumb? Because in my video, when I addressed my issue with him, it was the same shit. It was me talking about all the things he did, and then what did he do? I didn't do it. So if I go on this person's platform and address my issues once again, what do you think he's going to say?
You know, it's really interesting that it seems like no one else had a problem talking to 8. I mean, there was a lot of people on that 227. And they were, I dare to say the conversations went really well. He wasn't divorced from reality. He wasn't deluded. The conversations went fine. Maybe there were some disagreements about how things went down. But the conversations progressed and the resolution was good. Like, you're talking about him like he's completely unreasonable dude. Completely divorced from reality. Deluded. You can't talk to the guy. But I don't know. Everyone else seemed to do just fine with him. Seems like you might be the issue here.
I didn't do none of that. I don't know what you're talking about. You're making that up. He's going to deny all of it. What am I going to go talk to a person for that denies everything that I've said they've done? For what? You have a better time coming to a common ground with brick walls.
Oh, geez.
And here's the thing, right? Here's how I know. Before Jack showed any like proof of dude asking him for money, here's how I know that dude asked Jack for money. Because he's asked me for money.
Like, again, who fucking cares? But, you know, let's hear him out. Surely this is going to go somewhere, right?
In the past. And it was during the Skype. And it was during the Skype days. And look, I guarantee you he will never admit that he's asked me for money. I guarantee he's going to be like, oh, BG's a liar. Listen, there's a lot of people who don't like me on here. There's a lot of people who've made up narratives and lies about me and things like that. You know one thing I've never been called, as many names as people have called me? A liar. Nobody can say, oh man, that BG is just a liar. He just be... Nobody calls me that shit around here.
You're a liar. I think you're lying about the reason you got rid of Bond. I think a large part of it, I mean, there might be a modicum of truth to the, oh, he digresses too much and he doesn't play enough games or da-da-da-da, so on and so forth. But when we get down to it, the real reason you got rid of Bond is because you just don't like him. You don't like him. You don't like the environment he creates. You just want him gone. You're done with him. Don't like the dude. So, I think, yeah, you lied. Most of what you said was bullshit. It's not the real reason behind it. So there. Somebody called you a liar.
Nobody can say BG is just somebody who just makes up lies about people, because I've never done it. That man has asked me for money. And he's going to deny it because there's no way he's going to let his fan base know that the person he hates, he has also asked for money in the past. And I don't, bro, take whatever you believe in. If you want me to put my hand on a Bible, the Quran,
another man's dick,
whatever the fuck religion you believe in, I'll put my hand on that document and I'll swear to you that man has asked me for money. And he will deny it. So that's why I will never go on that person's platform, because anything that I say, he's just going to deny it. So that's why I will never do it. I mean, I shouldn't have to explain that, but some of y'all are slow. So there it is. That's really it. I'm just not going to talk to somebody who's in denial. Like, dude is either he either has amnesia, dementia, or is in denial. It's one of the three.
And mind you, all of this over a time that Jack Move loaned Hard 8 money. Not that Hard 8 didn't pay him back. Not that BG loaned him money and didn't get paid back. Which, by the way, did BG ever actually mention that he did loan 8 the money? I didn't catch that. So did 8 go to BG, hey, can I bum some money? I'll get you back, blah, blah, blah. And BG was like, nah, I ain't got it. And that's the issue. Like, I wouldn't put it past him. Like, he might just be that petty. But yeah, moving back to Jack, it's not even something that happened to him. Like, that's really your fucking reason? You couldn't think of anything better than that as to the reason why you just cannot talk to this fucking guy. It's crazy.
It's one of the three. And that's it.
Weapon will.
I got a couple things to say too, BG. First of all, about the Bond situation. I didn't ask for Bond. A lot of people think I asked for Bond to be on the podcast. I did not do that. BG just told y'all. I like Bond on the podcast. I still wanted Bond on the podcast, but like BG said, he thinks it's gonna flow better. So that's what he said.
Now, we did have a conversation with Jack on episode 227, and I asked him, you know, are you going to go on record and say on the podcast to BG, I don't think Bond should be removed from this podcast? And I guess he did it here. He softened it up, man. To me, he softened it up. Like, I would have said it with a little bit more balls. Everyone's got their own style, but... And then he kind of trails off, and he's like, well, but if, you know, BG thinks that the podcast will flow better, then, you know, that's what it is. Like, man, again, you see how these guys are bending the knee? Like, they walk on fucking eggshells. They're afraid to contradict this guy. They're afraid to put up any sort of fight, any sort of argument, any sort of pushback, like real pushback. This is what it is. They are afraid they are going to lose their jobs if they challenge him too much. Like, it's palpable. I'm sorry. You can sense that. If you can't, then I'm sorry. You have no sort of fucking concept of social cues or social skills. Like, it's there.
Also, people that's thinking I'm getting fired from the podcast, right? BG, I need you to look away for a minute. I'm not getting fired from the podcast, people. Okay, there's no way I'm getting fired from the podcast. Okay, like, why would you ever do that? Come on, now. Let's be real.
Hey, I can't make no promises, brother. I can't make no promises. Listen, Jack, even though I've said that I've made this decision unilaterally, some people out there are pretty savvy. What about the accusations that this was actually your master plan and you goaded me into it because you're getting a snazzy new apartment?
Wow.
And you wanted a bigger cut of that weapon wheel, Patreon.
The streets was saying it. Look, like I said, the timing is crazy, people. I just happened to be moving, but same day type shit. I did not have nothing to do with this, people. Y'all stop these narratives. Move. You see this shit, bro? You see what these supposed to be my people, bro? Why you laughing? This is supposed to be my people, bro. Why they do me like this?
It kind of makes sense. I ain't gonna lie.
Wow, that's crazy.
And he did a tour of the apartment too. What the?
Yeah, the timing is right, man. That deposit was looking heavy, man.
The rent is going up. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. But listen, I ain't had nothing to do with it. Shout out to my boy Bond. Salute.
And listen, here's the thing, right? I'm completely okay with like taking chances and being wrong. I'm completely fine with that. But sometimes you gotta take chances and make changes. This is not the you know. How many like real member changes have we had on here? 3, possibly 4.
3.
Yeah, I'm
3 official. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 official. Some people may count. I guess Mocha. Some people may count some people that was there earlier on. But listen, I'm okay with taking chances and I'm okay with taking the chance that people hate me for it. or that it doesn't work out. But if I think it's a right decision, I'll try it. I'm fine with that. And we'll figure it out along the way. Like it doesn't have to be figured out all at once, but I'll adjust and I'll make some adjustments and make changes, how I feel the podcast needs to be. So, and if I remove somebody, I don't remove somebody with the intention of replacing them. That's never like, oh, people are like, oh, who are you replacing Bond with? And like, who, like, bro, I didn't think about none of that. That's not my intention to just replace people. That's not what I think about up front, at least. And I don't know. It was just weird to me seeing like everybody freak the fuck out. And first of all, like people getting mad that I wouldn't address it is because, bro, I'm not addressing and answering your questions while I'm playing Marvel Rivals. Like,
wow.
Like what? Like what are you talking about?
That's crazy, BG. The game more important, man.
What? Are you crazy? You think I'm actually gonna talk about shit that interests people, that people want to talk about on my streams? That would be crazy. Like, no wonder why his streams apparently fucking suck. This is like 3 viewers or whatever it is for his huge audience. Like, if I started a stream and, 30 to 50 viewers or whatever he gets, that would be amazing. That would be a fucking miracle. But for somebody with his subscriber base and his audience, it's horrible. But yeah, no, he's not going to address it on his streams, even though there was the question on everybody's mind. He's not going to entertain people in that way. Boring motherfucker.
Yeah, look, I just don't like that people think that I'm supposed to like drop everything I'm doing and like answer your questions like, oh, like I'm Peter Parker and like you're JJJ and like, oh, I gotta have a report on your on your desk by 5 o'clock. Like, bro, I'm gonna address this when I address it. I'm not gonna be playing Marvel Rivals and answering your question. That's not like, if I'm having a Marvel Rivals stream, then my conversation is going to be about Marvel Rivals, not what you think I should be talking about, or it's gonna be what I want to talk about. So sorry.
Does anyone get any like serious control freak vibes from this? Like, Jesus Christ, you're not my boss. Just because you want me to talk about it, you know what? Now I'm not going to talk about it. How about that? I want to do it on my own time. Like, what a weirdo, man. This is like the mentality of a child, like a toddler. Jesus.
It was just funny to me seeing like people. I'm like, I'm part of the podcast, I'm the host, and like everybody else was, I don't think y'all were panicking, but everybody else was panicking besides me. That's the part that was weird to me. I'm like, bro, I'm sleeping well, I'm playing Marvel Rivals, I'm unbothered, and y'all out there like, oh my God, it's over, apocalypse, and I'm like, oh, it's over, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Guys, relax. I'm doing okay. I know I just fired a guy, fuck him. But I'm doing all right. I'm sleeping perfectly good at night. The podcast will be fine. Don't you worry.
So yeah.
Now I do have a question.
Yeah.
And this will be my last one. Did you give Bond what you also told Hardy? Say, no, I'm gonna support whatever that guy does. I'm gonna support, and did you tell him that or?
No, I didn't say that specifically, but.
And here's another example of you being a liar. Remember him telling, oh yeah, I still like Hard 8. I have no problem with Hard 8. If he does future content, I'm going to check him out. I'm going to watch his shit. Yeah, right. Motherfucker, you lying ass bitch.
What the fuck?
Oh, what? Okay, why did I block him on Twitter? The reason I blocked Bond on Twitter is because I didn't want to see some of the shit that he would. Okay, so what was it? Oh, it was Marvel Rivals, right? Okay. So everybody knows I love Marvel Rivals. And I have like I want to say 250 hours in it.
Damn, nigga.
And on the podcast, I've explained why Marvel Rivals to me is so good, and why I like it, and why I dislike something like Overwatch and like Marvel Rivals. I've explained that in depth on the podcast and in other videos.
And without having ever seen any of those videos, I'm just gonna take a guess. Let's see. He likes it because it's third person, has Marvel characters, and has a much bigger player base right now, and it's also a new game, so has a much larger casual audience. Therefore, he finds it easier to play, if you catch my meaning. Overwatch has a really established player base that has learned and progressed with the game, so when hopping into that, competition is a little bit higher.
And Bond does this thing where he'll hear you say something and he'll know you explain something and he'll be like, what? You like Marvel Rivals? Yes. I've explained it to you. You were here. You heard why I like Marvel Rivals. And then he'll be shocked about it later and bring it back up.
Is it possible that he's bringing it back up because he found the reasons you gave in the first place stupid?
And he does that a lot, where he'll know your stance on something and then pretend like he doesn't. And it's like, bro, come on. So I just didn't want to see that anymore. I'm ignoring it. It wasn't like I was even mad. I'm like, oh, I'm not doing this dumb shit no more. Same thing with
reason for the block.
Yeah. Because that is one of
the DMs, because he wasn't doing it on the feed. He was just messaging you on the DM.
I don't like what Marvel Rivals doing to you, BG.
Marvel Rivals has made me a very happy man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm a crazy person. That's what it's made.
I'm a very happy man.
That Unga Bunga, man.
Maybe it's different for y'all because y'all been quote unquote working with them for years. But as a fan of the show, it was sad to see him leave, man. I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna speak for fans.
Hold on, did I just miss something? Did Smooth say, and that's the reason you blocked him? And BG was like, yeah, pretty much. So the reason you blocked him is because sometimes, once in a while, he'll ask you the same question more than once, and that is so offensive to you that you have to block this dude you've been working with for 10 years. You are a fucking pussy. Like, thank God I don't have to fuck with you, because I don't think I could fuck with you.
So that, yeah, listen, that's it. That covers everything. I don't got nothing else to say. So y'all can, if y'all mad at me out there, y'all can continue to be mad at me. I embrace it. It's cool. I still love y'all. I still love everybody.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, you know what? If he's going to end it there, I might as well end it here too. It's a good stopping point, and I think I said enough. Video's running on a little long, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here, I suppose. Hope you enjoy. I might send this to a few people, try and get signal boosted since I have no built-in audience of my own. But yeah, if we could get this shared around, I'd love BG to see it. That would be fucking amazing, wouldn't it? I'd love that. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time, whenever that is. Peace out.